It's a bull. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. I've got the live manatee cam up. I think this is up in Blue Springs right here. Not so live. I had to roll it back a few minutes. I just kind of wanted to show you these really cool fish if you're not from Florida. These are what we call alligator gars. And if you see that long beak on them right there, it's lined up with little rows of long teeth. And supposedly these animals are like millions of years old and basically unchanged. We used to catch them as kids in the backwater canals here by throwing treble hooks out with weights on them, because they'll sit on the surface sometimes, and you just very tough skin too. You had to have super sharp treble hooks. Even then you barely hooked them, and they put up a heck of a fight. But I believe they're endangered species right now. I think they're, I'm not quite sure, or one of the covered species, and they should be. And what an awesome animal. I've seen these things up to 5 feet, maybe even 6 feet. That might be a fishtail, but they get long. They're typically around 3 feet long. And I don't think they're predatory with people or aggressive or anything, but I certainly wouldn't want to be a small bait fish near one of these. Very cool animal. Just wanted to share that with you, one of the little Florida things. And most of you that grew up here in South Florida know what these are, but even if you know what they are, it's still wonderful to watch them. And let me hit that live button just to see. They probably went away. No, there's one still hanging around. All right, hey, let's move into markets today and see what's going on. And I'm going to reduce that screen a little bit. And as I said, this is the underwater manatee cam at Blue Springs. You know, I usually show South Florida cams, but they're kind of cloudy, and the underwater cams, the clarity is not that good. That is just awesome. Look at that water. Again, this is one of the springs out there as well. And those creatures are magnificent. And actually, there is a manatee right there doing his thing. And as you know, those get super huge. All right, this is not a nature show, so I'll move along. But man, what a very, very cool live video feed this is. Florida is so beautiful, especially underwater. Let's take a look at my quote for the day, and this is from The Art of War. Weak leadership can wreck the soundest strategy. Forceful execution of even a poor plan can often bring victory. And this is something we certainly don't have in Washington, D.C. No less, this is not just a quote for war. I know it's from The Art of War, but if you've not read The Art of War, I'd put it on your recommended reading list. It's fairly short, and it doesn't just apply to war. And it applies to life in general, business, how you deal with things in general, but very in general. I like the little pun there I'm using. Speaking of generals, but it's very true. Weak leadership can wreck the soundest strategy, and I believe that's what we've had in our country for quite some time, is weak leadership, if you ask me. But no less, let's not go there right now, and we'll get into that in a little bit here. Let's take a look at spot prices. Really weird market last night. I mean, I'm sitting here watching it, overnight markets. It was 1952, 1958. I think we saw a high in 1964 last night. We'll take a look at the 24-hour chart here shortly. But just kind of sideways, hanging on at this 1950 level. And didn't see the monkey hammering. There you go. Didn't see the monkey hammering that I expected today. Well, the day's not over yet, and Sunday's still to come. But I still felt like there's going to be a pullback here. And take a look at silver as well. Well, let's look at the lows and highs here. 1944 low, 1964 high, basically a $20 range, and we're sitting on the upper end of the high side right now. Silver, a low of 25.29, a high of 25.75. But again, sitting in kind of the middle there, still down 6 cents from yesterday, I believe, the high with New York. And platinum, platinum just surprises the hell out of me. To me, it just seems super cheap. Platinum is. And palladium, again, knocked down another $100. Kind of weird. Both platinum and palladium are metals that come out of Russia, South Africa, and Canada. And you would think that a lot of it does come out of Russia, a lot of those two metals right there. You would think that with the sanctions, those metals would have gone up in price. But again, these two metals are not investment orientated as much as they are manufacturing orientated. But still, you would think there would be an uptick in the purchase of both of these metals. Anyways, if you got any comments or thoughts on why platinum and let's not talk about palladium right now because I don't sell much of it, but why platinum seems so awfully cheap and has been, let me know your opinion in the comment section. Well, let's take a look at the 24-hour charts here. And what are we looking at? Let me do a quick refresh here and see what we're doing. And there's the green line for today. That was last night's. That's the overnight markets right there, just sideways, as I said. In 1950s, that range overnight. And take a look at that, just kind of like, I'm not sure. It seems like it's waiting to go one way. Yeah, that's a real smart, you're going to pay me for my advice. What's gold and silver going to do, Brian? Well, it'll go up or down. There you go. There's my expertise. And then it'll go up. But it looks like, again, just sideways, kind of looking for direction. I'm not quite sure where. Overall, though, even if we get that pullback that I keep feeling I expect and feel like it's coming, if we get that pullback, the trajectory is upward overall. People have asked me when it comes to gold, well, what do you think the future gold is? I said it's going to continue to go up. Telling you when specifically that it's going to make its next move, its next leg, its next baseline, for example. My gut feeling has been that the next baseline that we were going to create after we got to the $1,500 base, to me, $1,500 was a baseline. And I was saying that back when gold was well below sub $1,000, $600, $700, $800 gold. I was just saying, our baseline's $1,250. Well, I don't say $1,500, but $1,250, $1,500, I think is where we're going to go next, and we're going to sit there for a long time. And I really talked about that, even though I don't have video to prove that. And that has been my prevailing thought for the longest time. But my thought after that $1,500, $1,250, $1,500 range that we were going to sit in a while, my next thought was definitely we're going to be seeing $2,500. That's going to be our next range. I'm thinking right now we could overheat well past that $2,500, but I still kind of see it in the cards that that's kind of our next baseline here, and it might sit there at a while. But again, tough to say. Black swan event could take gold to 10,000. Boy, I never thought I'd say that, but you just don't know in today's environment, especially given that the banks have fixed nothing. The Federal Reserve, central banks, governments worldwide have fixed nothing since 2008. They just put more Band-Aids on the gaping wound, more plasma into the patient. What is plasma? Plasma is more money, cheap, free, easy money, fiat. All right, that's all they've done. They just pumped the patient full of fiat. They ain't fixed shit. So we ain't healthy, folks. Our economy is not healthy. It's just teetering. And so is the worldwide global economy. And then what do? They go and make wars, all right, just to make the shit worse even. I think this is really all about control and the Great Reset. The more, I was kind of not thinking about resets in my life, but the more I think about it, there seems to be a global force out there that's trying to fuck with us. So, and you know what? They're screwing with the wrong people. Problem with people like us is, I don't mean this literally, but we shoot back. Maybe I did mean it literally, but we shoot back, and that's the issue that they're going to have, is that we're not going to put up with this, and we're not going to allow this kind of behavior. We're not going to allow them to force central bank digital currencies on us, because we're going to fight back. Well, boy, I digress, and there's the D word. For those of you who drink on the D word, there you go. There's your first drink of the day. I think I said the M word twice already, so there's a couple drinks on the M word, guys that like to drink on the M word. We got a couple words that people like to make drinking games on. And I even got people gambling on my coin toss in the morning, so I think my videos are kind of, subversive to some degree, creating people doing subversive things. Is that the right word to use? All right, let's take a look at the silver market here. Again, same kind of thing, although we do see that shortly after New York COMEX opens, you get that, all right, the second drink coming. It's coming, monkey hammered. And then we get that rebound right now, but still kind of sideways, hanging on to this $25 level, which surprises the shit out of me. I really kind of felt, reading Ted Butler and a lot of other people, that these big commercial short positions are in the need of getting it down to that $23 range to make the pain a lot less of what these losses can be. Bank of America as well. And again, Bank of America's short position of having physical is not on the COMEX market. If it was, they could simply cheat and roll it over. But Bank of America actually owes metal to JP Morgan. And it's going to be interesting how this all plays out, how they pay this back. What's going to happen on the back of higher silver prices is, and when Bank of America and these big corporate banks, if they're not able to bang it down to that $23 level, they're going to be suffering losses into the tens of billions of dollars, folks, combined. Tens of billions, 20 billion, 30, tough to say, but it's not looking good for them unless they can bang silver back down to $23. problem is, it's been so corrupt, them doing it is so corrupt, is that the Crimex, CME Crimex markets, and obviously the LME right now is in big trouble. They know their credibility is shot. They know they're oh, I almost said that word. They know that they're screwed when it comes to their credibility. So how much longer can they allow these big corporate manipulative, collusive, short positions to do what they're doing? They can't without. They're in a rock and a hard place, the casinos. The casino being the LME, the casino being the Crimex markets run by CME. These casino operators who've always favored and allowed the big manipulative whales to win the game, they're in a bad position right now because they know people are watching. They know that people are starting to realize their markets are crap. And you know what? They can't afford that. They can't afford to let their whole ship sink over some whales that they've made a few dollars off of. So what will they do? More than likely, they're going to throw these big whales under the bus, because if they don't, they go under. Again, that's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. So markets are kind of sideways in silver right now. Let's take a look at the equities world. What's going on in equities world? Let me just pop here. Hold on a second. The U.S. We're actually open right now. Down slightly, should be down a lot more, but as as I've been saying for quite some time, for the month or two now, I believe that the presidential working group, or the plunge protection team, which is a combination of the president, the Fed, and basically the Treasury Department, are out there manipulating the stock and bond market, and they're trying to keep it from hemorrhaging and collapsing overnight. That's the only lesson they learned from 2008, these idiots. The only lesson they learned, government people. I don't think the Fed is stupid as they look, though. I think the Fed knows that the ship is going down, and they're trying to do it in a way that they can get out with, they can get off the ship with their luggage, their booty, I should say, with their treasure. Anyways, I believe that these markets are manipulated. Otherwise, we would have saw a big crash, and we would still be seeing a big crash right now. But I think the plunge protection team is going in there and supporting that market and preventing that. But it will be death by 1,000 cuts for the stock market and bond market. That's the way I see it right now. And overall, really bad for the economy. But not an overnight crash, and which would be better. I know people say, well, Brian, why do you say an overnight crash would be better for the economy? Well, just like 2008, you know what happens in an overnight crash? All the people that made those awfully bad decisions to make these derivative deals, or whatever it is they did, loans, terrible loans, or just, again, bad business deals, all those people would have been bankrupt, and rightfully so. Well, here you're saying, well, Brian, if they went bankrupt, what would happen then? The whole world would have been, oh no, it would have been terrible. No, it wouldn't have. You know what would have happened is businesses that were doing well and still in good standing and still had good credit would pick up those assets and run with them. We would have been better off that way. We would have been better off taking the pain. But you know what happened is the Fed and the government weren't going to allow their friends, their buddies who made these bad decisions to go under. Too big to fail, not too big to bail, but too big to jail. That's my little theme there. Bitcoin price up. Of course, my thought was, and it's kind of odd because if you look, you're going to see we've been saying that Bitcoin now has been following the NASDAQ, which it seems to have on the chart, but not today. Take a look at that. NASDAQ down 155, but Bitcoin up. Well, what's the news with that? I'm starting to wonder, well, what's going on with that? But I tell you what's going on with the Bitcoin price. This news right here, and here we go. I'm heading there right now, and there you go. Russia just told us the ruble is implicitly backed by gold and Bitcoin. Now, I think that's somewhat a rumor or propaganda, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's that Russia. Well, this is the headline. Russia's open to selling natural gas for Bitcoin and gold, and I really genuinely believe that. Gold, yeah, for sure, because the Russians have been buying their own domestic supply for a long time. They've been talking. China has been doing it as well, and has been a lot of other countries that have been concerned with the United States weaponizing the dollar and Europe weaponizing the euro against people that they disagree with. Which was the stupidest thing that our country did, and Europe has ever done. You never weaponize your money. You let your enemy use it. The one thing that the people that run the world, politicians, and the officials in Europe and the United States did. Obviously, they've never read The Art of War because they really are completely moronic when it comes to this. And what do we got? Weak leadership wrecks the soundest strategy. So we've got weak leadership worldwide. We got people that don't understand the art of war, don't understand the way it should be done. All right, so Russia does, though, and I hate to say this, but Putin is 4 steps ahead of Europe and the United States on the chessboard. And I've said it before, I think that our current administration couldn't even play a good game of checkers with a 4-year-old. They're now currently playing chess with Putin. And again, Putin's way ahead of them. Easy to do with these current people. And even in the last administration. I'm sorry for people that are going to be butthurt with that, but there was nothing fiscally conservative about the last administration either. You gotta know how to be fiscally conservative, socially liberal, fiscally conservative, and we'd have a happy world and more peace. But no less, that's not what's happening. And I digress again. There's the D word for you drinkers out there that are drinking on digress. There's only one drink. All right. And Russia is opening selling. Okay, this is why I think Bitcoin got the bid, all right, and currently sitting at 44,753 because it's been following the NASDAQ market for quite some time now. So Bitcoin has got a bid from that news. I'm certain of that without a doubt. But why? Why don't I believe that? Well, listen, Bitcoin is obviously, even Russia has to acknowledge that Bitcoin may be a little bit seedy. It's made by some guy, Satoshi. The Russians are suspicious of this too. They're just looking at avenues. But maybe the Bitcoin thing is more propaganda. I'd like to see who actually, country's energy committee, Pavel Zabani, said in a press conference. Maybe he didn't say Bitcoin. Maybe he said some kind of digital, and I'm kind of thinking that's what they said because Bitcoin, they probably mistakenly said Bitcoin, but there's no way Russia would use Bitcoin. They can be locked out of the Bitcoin program too. We know that as well as they do. There's a chain that can go along with Bitcoin. Russia doesn't want their name on a piece of Bitcoin that the United States may say, hey, since Russia owned that, that's illegal for you to even own, okay? You get where I'm going with this? So I think what the misinterpretation here is that this guy probably did say, Pavel Zabani, probably did say Bitcoin when he really meant cryptos in general because India already had, not India, but China and Russia already had been using some kind of digital asset or online, and I suspect it's probably the Chinese digital yuan anyway, they've been using some kind of digital trading with their gold, and you can see that in an article here. And where is that? Let's see. Ether, Bitcoin. All right, I'm going to have to read a little bit more in this, but again, I can't see Russia trading oil for Bitcoin. I can see them using cryptos, their own cryptos or a version of a crypto that can't be tracked or won't be sanctioned by the US or Europe. But Bitcoin, I don't see it. I just don't see it. And again, I think that's why Bitcoin's getting the big bid. But in the reality, once the reality sets in and once we start to realize that, no, that Russia is not going to trade on Bitcoin. Gold, yes. Some kind of crypto technology, yes. But on Bitcoin, highly unlikely in my opinion. I think that's just a buy the, what do they call that? Buy the rumor, sell the fact or something like that, or buy the news and sell the rumor or something. I'm sorry, I kind of forgot how that goes, but there you go. Let me move back and we'll get out of Bitcoin and take a look at something that I absolutely know better than most YouTube talking heads because it's what I do for a living since 1977. And even, I started working for my father then. I think that was in the summers. I started working part-time in the summer of 1977, but I've been doing this a long time. I went through the 80s market. I know product, wholesale and retail. I know the wholesale market for gold, silver, bars, and coins, and platinum bars, platinum as well, but gold, silver, bars, and coins. And I know the market very well for it on the wholesale and the retail level. Been involved with both of them, still am. And best deal out there, folks, worst deal out there is still your sovereign coins. Maple Leafs, freaking Silver Eagles are just insane. I just sold off all my Silver Eagles, just about. I kept a few around for people that want them for gifts and stuff, but I refuse to sell Silver Eagles to my customers. I'm just not doing it. I sold off my entire stock to a wholesaler for just way too much money. I'm talking close to $10 an ounce I got for my Silver Eagles from a wholesaler. Now, mind you, I will not sell them retail, not even at a wholesale price. They're overpriced. All right, I know this. I've been doing this since I was a kid, and I would debate anybody on this comment that I made that Silver Eagles are way overpriced. I'll debate anybody that there's no good reason to buy them at this level. None. Unless there becomes zero product anywhere at these paper prices, then you're stuck buying them. Best deals out there are still 100-ounce bars, and the price just sucks on those as well, but what are you going to do? That's a state that we're in with this market right now. Big shortages out there in physical silver. And as you look, if you watch yesterday's video, I wish a lot more people had watched yesterday's video, because there was some really good content where I was explaining what's happening right now. And I believe that not only investment demand is wagging the tail finally. You know, I always called the tail the paper markets, and I called the dog the physical markets. And for decades, the tail has been wagging the dog. So paper market has been wagging the dog, if you understand that term. But I believe we're getting into the area of major shortages because of investment demand, ETF demand, and as Ted Butler pointed out in one of his brilliant articles this week, also industrial demand. There's one that I haven't thought about in a little while, but folks, industrial people, when they see a shortage, they can't just say, hey, we'll wait 8 months for it, because that shuts down the factory. That shuts down, they have to send employees home. They got nothing to build. So they are going to go out in there and directly compete with the investment people for immediate delivery of silver now, because they don't care. They need it. They can't afford to shut down. Another factor I have forgotten. So we got some big factors out here that have driven up the price of physical in a major, major way. Also, we have the potential for defaults and COMEX, in my opinion, if silver continues to decline because of this physical. And I believe the price of silver is waiting. I've called it a greyhound on a leash, a hyperactive greyhound on a leash. And this greyhound on a leash, we're holding on, something's holding on to this leash, which is the paper markets, in my opinion. Paper markets are holding on to this leash. This greyhound is just fucking bouncing around up and down there. I did say the F word, sorry. But there's a drink for one of you guys. and the rabbit runs, and this dog is just going crazy. This is what we've been seeing, the crazy up and down, $23 to $25, $23 to $25 for how long now? And again, the collusive commercial shorts trying to keep it down to that $23 to lessen their losses. But at some point, once this dog gets off that leash, man, that baby's going to run, okay? Where it goes to, I don't know. I think it's going to go well past $30 an ounce this time, maybe way past 35. But I told you I was going to give you what the best deals are. Unfortunately, it's overpriced 100-ounce bars, 1-ounce bars, and 10-ounce right now. There's no way around it, folks. There's no cheap silver unless you buy scrap. I could sell you scrap, but the problem with downside to that is that you got to go back and sell it, and you're going to have a steep discount on that stuff. It's a dilemma. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the product starts loosening up a little bit. One advantage that I have is, as I tell you, if you live in South Florida, I can beat JM Bullion, APMEX Bullion, SD Bullion. I get product in too. Problem with these guys is they don't buy product over the counter like I do. Well, maybe they do, but I bet you they don't get it in. Like, well, I can't say that either. However, I get product in over the counter, so I've been in this business a long time. I've been able to source this product, even though I think even the price of 100-ounce bars suck right now, I'll be honest with you. But Eagles and other things suck more. Again, love the product, love Eagles, love Maple Leafs, just hate the premiums. And I'm starting to hate the premiums on the generic products too, but folks, that's it. That's the best deal out there. Gold's a different story. Gold is not having the shortages that we're seeing with and again, don't forget, if you live in South Florida, I advertise to beat the big ones, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, and APMEX Bullion. We beat them on the cheaper generic type products. I don't carry the overpriced shit that some of these guys carry, but I carry the good deals, not the bad deals. And gold, same thing, in-stock gold. And again, nothing wrong with these companies. I respect them, actually. They've worked hard to get where they're at. However, as a local business person, I'm very competitive. So should your local coin store be very competitive as well. I want your money, and I want to keep it local, and I can spend it local. All things that these three big companies I just mentioned don't do and won't do and can't do. Also, the face-to-face service. If you come in my store, you get to meet my great employees who are all say the same thing and follow my lead. And once in a while, you get to see my smiling, handsome face. Gold, all the products are still reasonable. I still like gold bars way better than the other products just because the price point. You know, you can buy a gold bar plus 2 ounces of silver for the same price you could buy American Eagle. if that's the case, I'm cheap like that. I'd rather have the 2 ounces of silver than a high premium on an eagle. Because again, love eagles, just like the fact that I get much more product for my money with the gold bars and eagles or maple leafs or buffaloes. And that's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. And as I said, I can beat JM, APMEX, and SD Bullion. If you don't live in South Florida, find yourself a good local dealer that can do the same as I do. They're out there, folks. You might have to drive around to find one, but they're out there. And even if they're a little bit grumpy, I heard some coin dealers are grumpy. Even if they're a little grumpy, it's still worth the drive, all right? Okay. U.S. dollar's dominance is being stealthily eroded. Also from, God, they post so much stuff. I love gata.org, but they just post so much stuff from Bloomberg News, who I hate. I don't hate them. I don't hate anybody really, but you know what I'm saying. Dislike intensely. And I don't know why they do that, because gata.org, even though it's content guys, Bloomberg News is going to throw you guys under the bus one day. You watch. They're going to throw your whole theory or something, if they haven't already. And but anyways, interesting article. All right, there I said it. Okay, so they have to have some content, and I got to admit, it's an interesting article. And U.S. dominance is being stealthily eroded. We have talked about this for quite some time. 2 years I've talked about this on my videos now. And that's because our boneheaded politicians and officials in the United States decided at one point, decades and decades ago, this is not a recent event, to weaponize the U.S. dollar, which was the biggest mistake we made. And obviously, whoever decided to weaponize the U.S. dollar never read The Art of War. Because why? Because they're a bunch of cheap losers, weak leadership that wrecked a sound strategy that we could have. And forceful execution of even a poor plan, I don't even think they could pull that off, folks. Any of these administrations I've seen, well, maybe a few people I like in the last several, decades. All right, I'm a little rough on our government, but we should be. You know what I mean? We should be. I'm rough on our government. I'm rough on our officials. I question them all the time. But folks, if we did that more often, we wouldn't be in the shit show we are right now. What else is going on with gata.org? Not much. And by the way, if you're a gold stacker and a silver stacker, silver guys, you got to follow the lead of gold, because wherever gold goes, silver will follow eventually at some point. So you need to follow gold. That's to all my silver stacking friends. Gold folks, and silver folks, you need to have gata.org on your bookmark bar. Read their articles once a week. They're there for a reason. And I agree, even though I don't like Bloomberg, that they're making points by posting these articles. So why doesn't the U.S. Mint try buying? Gosh, there's some good stuff I haven't even read here myself. Maybe we'll get to that on Monday, all right? Russian plane are too important to sanction. Interesting, all right? And U.S., all right, some good stuff out here. But as I've said, I've talked about the U.S. dollar dominance and how we weaponized that years ago, the morons that were running our country. And now the Europeans have weaponized the euro as well. But they're run by a bunch of liberal leftists. Jerks, clueless jerks. I'm sorry, I said it. And remember, I am socially liberal in every way, which means that I don't care what you do with your life. Just don't hurt anyone and don't make someone pay for it. So I'm very liberal. But when it comes to fiscal conservative, I'm very conservative in a fiscal manner, because what did I just say? Don't care what you do with your life. Don't care, as long as you don't hurt yourself and make someone else do what? Pay for it. All right, that's my attitude. All right, and I don't like wars, and I don't like people that don't do their best to avoid wars. I don't like people that don't do their best to create peace, and we haven't had that in a long time either. Got to admit, the last administration, as much of a pompous ass as I thought the guy was. Again, I'm throwing some opinions out here, folks, but he didn't create any more new wars, and he was trying to get us out of them. So in that manner, I do respect what he did there, for sure. And I can't say that this about this current administration or the one prior to it. And those blue people are supposed to be the people of peace. Ha! Bullshit. All right. Anyways, that doesn't surprise me. This explains why I think Bitcoin has a bid and why I think gold will continue to climb, needless to say. And let's see. IMF warns countries may cut dollar reserves. Yep, there you go, man. This is what I'm talking about. This is bad for us, folks. And this is what happened when we weaponized the dollar. We screwed ourselves. You know the term, you reap what we sow. Well, we are going to reap what we sowed by electing morons in office for the last several decades, all right? And it's not just the recent decades, all right? And not just this administration. but past administrations, and we screwed ourselves, all right, because we didn't understand the art of war. We didn't understand that our dollar is the most powerful thing we have, and the most powerful thing the United States owned. The most powerful weapon this country had is the dollar. And it wasn't a weapon by using it as a weapon, it was a weapon by getting your enemies to use it and rely on it. As long as they were using it and relying on it, and you didn't weaponize it or take it away from them, they were always reliant on us. You get it now? You get it? Apparently, because the last several decades of morons haven't got that. Oh gosh, I can't even talk about this stuff. You know, this is like, I woke up in Superman's opposite world. What do you call that again? I used to talk about that. Okay, Bizarro World. We woke up in Bizarro World, folks. And what's here? Anything else I want to talk about? Nah, just sad shit. That's it. Not going to go into that today. You know, I can go off. I can get you guys really drunk by the end of this program by those 3 words. Looks like someone already caught me to it. Look, there you go, Heart of Texas. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to be tempted to say it. You guys can't make me say it. I'll say it on my own accord here. Hey, Heart of Texas, what's up? And True Silver Highwayman Big J says, check out Silver Slayer and Pounding a Point. Yep. If it's true, unspoken. Yep, true. That's thanks. I don't know. I don't know who Silver Slayer is, but I'll take a look at him. Thanks, Big J. If you don't spend the CBDC that month, you're probably zeroed out every month. Yeah, that's probably true. Oh, gosh, here you go. Here's another one of those crypto scammers. I love it. They're the only ones out there. Lucy, man, she's persistent. I thought I blocked her before, but 11 replies. Oh, you got to call such and such. These guys are scumbags, man. Can you imagine scumbags that they have no life? They got to do this kind of stuff. Scumbags like the fake name Lucy Kep and whoever does that. No less. Here, hey, I'll show you what I do when I see those, by the way. Can't get it done fast enough, but let's just do a remove, and we'll just do a remove. I should have reported it, but it doesn't do any good. You report it to them, and they just allow it to happen. Yes, sir, that's very true. Thanks for watching SBS. Colin, what's up? Yes, you may quote me on that. Yeah, it's a world full of stupid people, Colin. I appreciate you watching and viewing. Following a gold and silver, don't understand what's going on in new regard. Wouldn't the plunge protection be responsible antidote for that? Yeah, that's what we've been talking about, Shep. Actually, my videos for the last month or two, I've been talking how I feel that the plunge protection team is keeping the price of equities from collapsing and keeping, maybe even very possibly keeping the price of gold from going down. I don't think that's a far stretch either, and gata.org might even agree with that. And by the way, Shep, make sure you got gata.org on your bookmark bar. Oh boy, I just went to Shep's page. Hey, what's Shep got going on out there? I get a RAM. Sorry about that, Shep. Okay, let me get back my newest first. Don't ask me. Look, here's what I do. I go newest first, and then I go to the bottom of the page. All right, close your eyes. I don't want to make you sick. Oh, wow, a lot of comments out here. Let's see here. And oh my gosh. Robert Watkins. There you go. T, the Silver Stacker. I met you yesterday. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. New subscriber, appreciate it. T also does his own videos as well. And I'll show you here. Take a look here. I think he wants to come in and talk to me about a few things. Today, I'm doing the video right now. I think he called a little bit ago. And I'm happy to do it. Another YouTuber out there with a nice attitude, a really nice, pleasant gentleman. And don't mind doing something collaborative on that point. And let's take, here, close your eyes real quick. Again, don't want to make you dizzy. God, that makes me dizzy as well. Good thing I'm not drinking. Wine. Good thing I'm not evening video. I'm drinking wine. Okay, where do we go from here? Hey, Muffles, there is a shortage of blanks, not the metal. That's not true necessarily. There's not a shortage of blanks out there. That is where your mixed up supply chains issues hit every collectibles. That is what they're claiming, that there's a shortage of blanks, Muffles, but this is not the case. The U.S. Mint could certainly source blanks, especially considering the fact that I believe Sunshine Mint, or one of the mints, makes blanks for them. They could make as many blanks as they needed for Silver Eagles. And how do I know that? Because they're actually making blanks for their own generic products right now. And there's, so. Yeah, there is a supply issue right there. Don't believe everything you hear, Muffles. And thanks for watching. I appreciate that. And even if you disagree with me, hey, it's cool. It's cool if we agree to disagree. That almost sounded Italian. It's a cool. Sela says, I wish you'd start doing orders by mail. I know, maybe someday I'll partner up with someone and have a mail order business. I'll let you know. But right now I'm having just a hard time keeping up with what I'm doing, especially since it's hard to find good help. Thank you, Big J, and Chuck, actually, I think I was calling it dead space when I do this. I take a sip of coffee, and ready? What you hear is nothing. That's called dead air. I called it dead space. Thanks for the heads up there, Chuck. And Silas agrees with me on the plunge protection team. I believe that as well. And again, all you folks, I appreciate your comments. You're all very civil and all nice. Even the people that disagree with me are super civil and cool. And I like that. There's a lot to learn from people you disagree with. And it's true. I've learned more from people I disagree with than people I agreed with, that's for sure. And no, that's not an original statement by me. Yep, I agree with you, Richard Lamont. Absolutely true. And the easy way to explain it is this: doesn't matter who owns the train cars, the bankers own the tracks. Yeah, well, that's a good point there. Buffalo Springfield, yep. Artisto Milipolos, silver, yeah, man, you go. Yeah, man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. I did hear the Rush version of that. All right, here, let me move along here. Thanks, Guido. Thanks, Linda. Appreciate that. 16 hours, John Smith. I'm kind of looking for some questions. I disagree with you, Armonolo, but thank you for watching anyway. I'd stick with the silver personally. To the moon, yep. That's a Beavis and Brian said big butt. Yeah, I know who Beavis and Butthead is. Thank you, RM1 US9 Fib Ribbon 7. You know who you are. Thank you as well. And again, I'm kind of looking for some questions here. And thanks, Ivar. Thanks, Johnny Boy. And let's see, does anyone? That's interesting right there. You said 50 grams per Tesla of silver. Wow, that is really interesting. But remember, it's probably just contact points on the circuit boards and stuff like that is where they're going to use silver. So that would make sense. But no less, there is a lot of silver used in the industry. And I would be curious, if you get a chance, Johnny Boy, go ahead and put a link to this right here in today's comments. I'd like to read that. Thanks. 1J says, yep, that's true. Chris Dutcher, what's up, dude? Joe Schmo. What a great name. Joe Schmo, my new favorite. All right. But he does criticize me. If you're a metals guy who presumes in it, why presume anything to know about Bitcoin? Well, because I don't presume I know much of anything, really. I do presume, tough word to say. What I do here when I talk about Bitcoin, and I openly admit I'm not an expert in it, which is more than some people do, especially when it comes to, they're talking about my business and silver, especially when crypto people are talking about gold and silver. Oh, crypto's going to replace gold. It makes me laugh. But no, I don't presume to know anything, and actually I presume that I'm learning as I go, like most folks. But hey, Joe, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If that's the only thing we disagree on, we're doing well. Scott says, Carter destroyed the military and caused gas shortage. Yeah, but Carter was handed a bag of shit too, because Nixon took us off the gold standard, and that really, if you take a look at the inflation index or the misery index, you'll see that the misery really started after we went off the gold standard, folks. It really did. When Nixon closed the gold window, that was it, man. We're Keynesians. He even said it. We're Keynesians now, man. And it's been a downhill path ever since, and an uphill ride for gold and silver. Chart guy. Hey, I like this guy right here. Chart guy, I got one question for you if you can answer. When you're doing the charts and you're looking at all these patterns and everything, how do you consider that a commercial? Again, I talk about collusive commercial short positions. How is that figured in? How is manipulation? Is that just part of the charts? It's part of the heads and shoulders and everything, the teacup formations and all this stuff. If it's collusive and it's manipulated, are the charts accurate? That is my question, okay? And again, I like charts, and I value your input here, so that's not a negative question, or I'm not trying to be a smart ass or anything. I'm just curious how that factors into charts. You know, say for example, for the last couple decades, the banks, again, I believe this is true, some may not, but the banks have been collusive, and at random times and at random dates they go in there and they just knock these prices down. Do the charts show us that, or do the charts indicate that that's happening, or is that just part of, you know, what we're reading here? Again, complicated question, I hope you got it, and I really do value what you say here. Chart guy, and by the way, that was a direct comment to Chart guy. Chart guy says, The silver price pattern is providing a looking glass into both price action timing and when the trigger will set off the AG from the starting gauge, silver from the starting gauge, as with any bona fide pattern. This particular formation is new 90% complete and has an extreme high probability of an unimaginable upside price rally. Folks, our chart guy believes that silver is going to just take off right through the sky. He's starting to talk about triple digits down here from his lips to the silver god's ears. However, whatever the chart pattern cannot tell you is what the trigger will be, and the trigger will be just as unimaginable in magnitude. I can only think of 3 scenarios which might trigger this historical run to triple digits. Now, he's talking about triple digit silver. Again, good, but on the other hand, think about what the world's going to look like in triple digit silver, and he kind of puts this out. This is what it's going to look like, folks. This is what's going to drive up triple digit silver, unfortunately. So remember what I told you about wealth preservation? This is not about getting rich. You're not rich if all of a sudden bread is $100 a loaf and silver is $150 an ounce, okay? But you did better than holding on to a lot of other assets. That's the whole point. So what he says what will trigger is a sudden collapse in the U.S. dollar coupled with the Fed reversing hawkish monetary policy, global financial contagion. I believe that he is correct on that. That's the most likely scenario. Maybe that's why he's got it first. Comics default and mother of all short squeezing, forcing bullion banks commercial to cover. And lastly, geopolitical events I prefer not to even consider. Chart guy, I think we may have a combination of all 3 of those. What does that do? Oh my God, I can't even imagine. I don't see a nuclear war. I don't even see that even coming close to that. I see this just as posturing by Washington, D.C. Again, through the midterms, they're going to get through the midterms. They had the Critter 19 to blame for a bunch of stuff. But remember the old thing that war takes people's mind off of domestic issues and the current problems, and that's exactly what I think we got going on. I believe that after the midterms, the war will kind of go away in some way, or won't be as important to us. And I really believe that we dragged Ukraine into this poor frickin' thing, and it's not their fault. And not just Russia's to blame on this, but a good part of the United States and EU is to blame on this whole deal. But then again, I digress. There's your 3rd drink of the day. You digress, guys. Hey, thanks for the comment, 100 bucks. I couldn't agree with you more, and thank you for teaching me more about charts. And if you get a chance to answer my question in comments, I'd appreciate that. We need a graph like this showing both real inflation and real employment numbers. I think we have that. Thanks for watching, Anonymous Stacker, Gnarly Silver, Michael Matthews, and Chris Elliott. When it comes to world investment, most people don't know where to start. Fortunately, great investment can provide us. Oh my gosh, there's an F you, Chris Elliott, another bullshit scammer out there. There he is. Let me remove him. Sorry about that, folks. I didn't see it. Let's just do a remove, and I'll do a report. And Michael, let's see, CSEN, this morning, which BC governments around the world are following the, yep, there you go, good read there, sir. I couldn't argue with that at all as well. Hey, listen, all of you folks out there watching, I appreciate if you can hit that like button, and yeah, if you did dislike it, fine, just hit any button up here. And the share button, and the make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well. I really do appreciate that. And that's it. Hey, my saying for the year, you old folks know this, the folks you've been following me since the beginning of the year, this is my credo for the rest of the year. For those of you that don't, think for yourself and question authority. And as I've been adding for the last couple months, question your own narrative as well. Hey, that's it. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to do my best to do that. And if you want to buy gold and silver, precious metals, rare coins, even doing jewelry, artwork, antiques, and other things, and you're in South Florida, you live in South Florida, come and see me. I'm open 10 to 4, Mondays through Fridays. There's my phone number right there. Call us anytime, 10 to 4. And we got the best deals in precious metals down here as well. And we advertise to beat Atmex, JM, and SD. If you don't live in South Florida and you can't do business with me, folks, I'm sorry. I don't do any mail order. I can't help you much, but please, please, please find a good local dealer to deal with. Keep that money in your community if you can. It really pays off. Well, that's it. Thanks. Have yourself a great day, and I will talk to you on Monday. Bye now.